if you really want true legacy, it's not really a statue, a stone, or something that somebody remembers you by. It's the fact that you've poured your life out into someone, into an organization, into something, and you've woven the fabric of your DNA into another generation. And when they look at them, they're carrying on the thing that you carried. Your disciples, can you mark them in such a way that they're like, I want to be more like that, and I want to make an impact?
Everybody wants to be remembered by something, right? And I think in the culture that we live in today, everybody's pretty ambitious.
Nothing's really proven until you've done it 4 generations. I will not be an abusive man. I will not be an adulterous man. And we haven't done any ministry. We're just getting ready to get ready to get ready, right? And it's kind of like, it's not a ministry until you minister. And then all of a sudden, man, we just pull over. I pulled over that bench, and Pastor Danny gets up on that bench with no mic and just starts preaching the gospel. And before that whole thing was over, 20 people got saved and baptized. Because discipleship and legacy is built in the doing.
How would you define legacy, Pastor Robert?
Okay, legacy. I think this is kind of something that I feel like if we're not careful, it becomes very self-serving, this idea of legacy. Because before I define what it is, I think it would be like what we think it is or what it's not.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like when you do big fundraisers, I don't know if you've ever seen the legacy wall, and you'll have all these people who donated and leave a legacy. And then all of a sudden it turns into this thing where you're like, you're filling out paperwork and putting your name on there and giving a gift so that your name can go on a wall. And we think that is legacy. It's like, man, I'm going to be remembered. When I'm long gone and this building is still here, my statue will still be there, or my name will still be on a wall or on a tile or on a brick. And we equate legacy to that. Are you with me?
No, I'm following you.
And,
I'm following you.
It's not legacy. I mean, it's something. I guess somebody will remember you for that. But when you really if you really want true legacy, it's not really a statue, a stone, or something that somebody remembers you by. It's the fact that you've poured your life out into someone, into an organization, into something, and you've woven the fabric of your DNA into another generation. And when they look at them, they're carrying on the thing that you carried.
Wow, that's good.
That's more of a definition of true legacy, is like, can I make a mark? And I don't mean like on a wall or a mark with a stone, but can I make a mark on people that they will carry on the ideas that we had and the culture that we wanted to create, or the goals that we wanted to achieve. Now, before we just like write up, when people do that and people know that that legacy is passed on, I have seen, monuments built, but when the monument can't come before the culture, the idea, the passing on, the interwovenness of the heart of what you're trying to do. And I think that's where sometimes legacy goes wrong, I would say. So for me, how do I define legacy is, for me as a father, will my children look like me and believe, carry on what I thought family would be? And do I want them to carry it on? Some people say, well, like, I'm not really building legacy, but really we're all building legacy. It's just, what is it going to be? Is it going to be a positive legacy or a negative legacy? But we're all building something, and we're all pouring into these young people, whether it's our children or disciples, people that we're raising up and working with. We're building men and women. We're building them up with the DNA and the culture, and that we're imparting into them to say, hey, this is important. Even like with Fatherhood Foundation, men's ministry, we're saying manhood and Christ-likeness are synonymous. Can we impart that and interweave that into the next generation and the following generation? where we don't lose that.
So I guess what I hear you saying is it's been perverted that sometimes people would think that legacy is maybe an accomplishment, but what I hear you saying is not something you actually accomplish, is what you set in motion. Something
Yes.
that continues after you.
I wouldn't even say it's perverted.
Uh-huh.
I'd say it's like not fully true. It's not that it's perverted. It's more that there's more to it.
Mm.
There's more to
In
it than your
addition
name
to-
on a wall.
Okay, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so there's more to it than the name on the wall could be like a recognition that you were part of building a legacy.
Yeah.
It's like, if you build a hospital, the legacies is not just the existing of the wall where your name is. The legacy is in the vision and the achievement and the impact of the hospital.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think what I was really trying to get at is like we can't make legacy just like a recognition thing.
That's right.
It's like I want to leave a legacy, so I want my name up there, or I want this done in my name, or I want to name this hall. It's not the hall that's going to be the legacy. The buildings come and go. It's the heart behind what that library is doing, what that hospital is doing, right? It's the impact. And I think as we build legacy, what we're trying to teach men is like, you have a legacy to leave through your family first, and then through the disciples that you raise up. Can you mark the people that hang out with you, your disciples? Can you mark them in such a way that they're like, I want to be more like that, and I want to make an impact, and I'm gonna do what I saw my spiritual father or my mentor do, because I'm impacted by what they do. If you look at Dr. Edwin Lewis Cole with the book Maximize Manhood, a lot of what I've learned in men's ministry, that man started in the 80s. And I read those books, and they were instrumental in my transformation, in my change, in what I thought that manhood should be. It made me a better husband, right? So the legacy, Dr. Cole's legacy, is not just his name, but it's the fact that I'm still talking about Dr. Cole, and I'm still living out the principles that he laid out in those books. Do you see?
Yeah.
So can we build something and mark something that would take something further than us and than our lifetime? Will somebody be around to carry on the vision that you had? And naturally your kids would, right?
Yeah.
Or your spiritual kids, or the disciples that you make.
Yeah, and I think, everybody wants to be remembered by something, right? And I think in the culture that we live in today, everybody's pretty ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that we're doing it, but someone's starting a podcast, someone's starting something new.
Right.
But it's interesting that most common things fail after 3 generations. How are we building something that's sustainable?
I had a gentleman that was in the ministry for a long time. He's gone to be with the Lord. He passed away, and I'll never forget that I was doing something, and I mentioned to him, "Hey, I'm trying to write a book." And the first thing he asked me was like, "Well," he's like, "How long have you been walking this out?" And I said, "Well, I started talking about how my mentor mentored me, and how I'm mentoring others." So really, that's 1-2 generations. And he said, nothing's really proven until you've done it 4 generations. And I was like, wow, whoa. In other words, you haven't really uncovered and unveiled everything there is to unveil until there's time. Right? So how many books sometimes are written without enough time? And, is it true? Will it stand the test of time? And it really made me stop and think, like, wow, I really need to take I need to take my time before I come out and just make a statement and said, this is it. When I make a statement, it needs to be true.
That's right.
Manhood and Christ-like are synonymous. I can pretty much tell you that's true. I can pretty much tell you that to be like to be a man is to be like Christ. That's been proven over time. That if men would transform into the image of Christ, there would be less sinfulness being done by men. We know that, right? I mean, if I begin to look at Christ's life and begin to emulate and imitate what he taught in the scriptures, I will not be an abusive man. I will not be an adulterous man. I will not be a lying man. I will not be a thief. There will be things that will change if I conform my life to him. And he the awesome part of the gospel is he not only saves me, but then he empowers me to be able to walk in that. And I think men need to understand, even with legacy, do you set out? Maybe part of the problem is that we set out to create legacy, and what we ought to do is just set out to be like Christ and allow someone else to say, wow, that's valuable. Too many times we're trying to tell everybody that what we do is valuable, and then we never do anything. If we'd get about doing something, making changes, going and making a difference, starting the ministry, I always tell people we spend more time writing a business plan for a ministry or getting a 501c3 and getting everything in order, getting a phone line, getting an email address, creating a website, and we haven't done any ministry. We're just getting ready to get ready, right? And it's kind of like, it's not a ministry until you minister. Yeah. So, like, if God puts it on your heart and you're like, man, I want to change this homeless situation in my city, then go change the homeless situation in your city, one person at a time, and get about it. The rest of it will follow. But sometimes because of our culture, because of what we're thinking, we got to put our name out there and we got to copyright our name because our brand, and we start thinking like not ministry because we're trying to build something. It's like, and in fact, in the Old Testament, the kings would build monuments to themselves. And we got to be careful of that in the ministry. We're not trying to build a monument unto ourselves. We're trying to fulfill the call of God in our life, the vision that God gave us, and through that, legacy is established. It's almost kind of like if we chase legacy, we'll get nothing. But if we chase the call and the purpose and the vision God gives us, I believe that if it's worthy, it's gonna gain momentum and create legacy. And the people that follow you are going to be like, man, I'm all about this. I can give my life to that, right? So sometimes when I go to Mexico or to another country and we're dealing with people who have nothing, and we're out there like putting our hand to the plow, like that's something I never want to really lose. So I've been pastoring now. It's going to be 9 years in June. And I had a lady come up to me at church one Sunday. I preached 3 services. I'm coming off the second service, and she's like, how do you do 3 services? How does it not get monotonous? Man, how do you do? And I had just gotten back from Mexico from an outreach that we did over there. And I told her, I was like, what keeps me right is not Sunday morning. What keeps me right is what I do Monday through Saturday, when I really like live out what I want to preach.
That's good.
So when I'm in the trenches, when I'm with my team on the ground, and we're walking into houses that you wouldn't live in, or you're dealing with kids that are living under a house, and you run into that part of humanity, man. When I get up on Sunday, like the Sunday part is the easy part. The other part is like, to me, that's message prep. Like there's so many messages and so much revelation when you're in it. And if you get in it, it holds you accountable to what you're going to preach on Sunday. And so I never want to lose that. Like I tell people that all the time. I never want to become just the Sunday morning voice piece. I am I am the pastor and I am going to get up there on Sunday and preach, but I still want to know that I really believe what I preach.
Yeah.
And the only way that I know that I believe that I preach is if I'm out there doing what I say, what Jesus did. And that is, going around wherever the doors will open and preaching the gospel. I loved it. It was so cool. In Mexico, we were passing out food. So it's like 2,000 people out there. They're all lined up to pass out food, to receive food. And the team's getting ready. And, man, you know how this goes. Like, you turn it on, it's going to be over in like 10 minutes. Because you're just going to pass out food. And then all of a sudden, man, I pulled over that bench, and Pastor Danny gets up on that bench with no mic and just starts preaching the gospel. And before that whole thing was over, 20 people got saved and baptized. Right? Some people are, like, well, so that's why we do what we do.
Right.
That's why we take the food. That's why we take the toys for the kids, for just one opportunity to get up on a bench and tell everybody what Jesus did for them on the cross and save as many as we can save. And then every time we do it, we say 20, 10, 5, 1, whatever it is. That's legacy. So Danny, as my disciple, now has in his memory bank me and my pastor, me and my mentor, me and the guy that I see as a spiritual father. We used to do this. We got up we gave away food, but we got up on a bench and we preached open air to get people saved. Legacy. So when I'm gone, that'll be inside Danny. It won't be in a book. He like Paul said, you are my letter to the church. He says, I don't need to write a letter. You are my letter. And Danny is the same way. And I think that legacy is transferred that way. It's imparted and transferred that way. So I always tell Pat, if you're mentoring people, it's okay to go to the coffee shop and have a coffee. It's okay to go to lunch. Those are great. But go do something for the kingdom. Let them see you do it. Be in it with them. Paint a house with your guys. Put your hand to the plow. Because discipleship and legacy is built in the doing. It's in the going and in the doing. It's not built in a book, in a study. Now, books and studies and coffees, they got a place. But if that's all it is, then you'll just have knowledge in here and you won't have the heart of acting it out and living it out.
As one last piece regarding legacy, where does it begin? Should we focus on it? Or what would you tell to your younger self about legacy? One last thing.
What I would tell myself is I need to become something that's worthy of being imitated. If you really want to build something, I would say become something worthy of being imitated. Become something worthy of being the example. And when I become that and people watch me, I'm going to mark those people. We're going to mark people no matter what we do. We're going to mark them. We're going to mark them good or we're going to mark them bad. Right? A good father will mark his children good. A bad father will mark his children in a negative way. Right? So I would say rather than focus on when I leave, this is the legacy that I want to live. Start living the legacy that you want to leave. That's what I would say. You're not going to live forever, right? So live in such a way that what you live transfers to the next generation and they move it forward. That's, to me, I would say with legacy is don't focus on the legacy. Focus on, it's kind of, don't focus on the legacy, but you're focusing on the legacy when you just live it out. Yeah. Everybody always wants to tell everybody what to do, and nobody gives an example. That's good. It's like we need demonstration. We need be a demonstration every day of what it is to leave a legacy, to be a man of God, to be a disciple. I think that's important.
No, then and that's a good way to end the podcast. I appreciate you guys listening in. Stay tuned next week.